my mind went ballistic. Like, where does he get that from? Forgetting that I have real estate backgrounds and I host a lot of meetings that I actually teach real estate and how to rehab homes. I'm like, oh, duh, he got it from me. So, with that being said, no matter how old you are, people are watching you and you can learn no matter what age you are. So my son knows the definition of real estate, life insurance, living benefits. Now, when he gets in his kid groups, he still knows how to be a kid and talk about, toys and all the kids things that they talk about. But when he's in a setting where it's professionals, he also knows how to respond to things that he hears.
That's so good. So my beautiful, precious grandson and your beautiful son are almost the same age. I think your son's like a month older, just like a month older. So I got to step up my game.
No, I'm sure
So
you're
what I
doing
did,
amazing. I'm sure you're doing amazing. But when he did that day and he was 3, I was like, okay, so they say, or certain mentors would say, if you're talking to a person, talk to them like you're a 3-year-old or 5-year-old. I never understood that, but then I understood it because when I'm talking to certain people, that statement people say, can you say it simpler, or the popular tone they say, can you dumb it down for me a little bit? Anything you communicate to a 5-year-old that they can understand it, you can communicate it, because how many times we're talking to other adults and we don't understand what they're saying. Now, most times I would say 25% out of 100, 25% of people are not going to say, can you repeat that? Or can you explain to me in a different manner? I did not understand. So I took speech therapy when I was in school early on, because I used to stutter like really, really bad. The way I communicate now, I don't know how I got here, to be honest with you, but they taught us to speak simple. That way everything can be transparent. Now, you can talk like you're a college professor or you're a doctor, but even when I'm at my doctor's appointments, I said, okay, doc, I heard what you say, all those medical fancy terms. Can you tell me what's wrong in the smallest term? Do I need medicine? Do I don't need medicine? So even in our life today, communication is very valuable into our greatness, because if we're not communicating what we understand at the same time, we're wasting a lot of time and knowledge.
so, so true. And I think that goes back to what some of the points that you had in the beginning is that when we come into any type of a relationship or even just meeting people, we're constantly, a lot of times, if we're coming from our ego, then we're kind of looking at how are we better, or what can we teach them, or what do we know better than them, instead of looking at someone and wondering, and just with curiosity, where's the treasure in them? What can they teach us? What can I learn from this experience? Because I don't believe that there's any such thing as accidents. You and I did not meet by accident. It's by design. And we may not know what that reason is on the onset, but if we're willing to remain humble and curious, we can be learning from anyone, and everyone can teach us. And sometimes they teach us things that maybe what we don't want to be.
I agree. And even most times we learn something that we were hiding from, or something
Mhm.
that we need to learn that was, brought to our attention before, but now it's at the forefront. Like, okay, I can't keep running from this topic. I can't keep running from this situation. The truth will find you. You can hide all you want under the blanket. And as you say, booby trap from the boogeyman, you can hide all you want, but it will come back right in the front of you and you have to deal with it.
Oh my gosh, I'm laughing because I learned this. I got to tell you, one of my mentors right now is somebody that initially I did like everybody talked about him. They were said how wonderful he is. He's incredible. He's so knowledgeable. He's so wise. This is before he was on social media. And I listened to one of the first CDs that my other mentor had given me, and I did not resonate with him at all. I thought his voice was irritating. I thought he was so ego, and I wanted nothing to do with him. Everybody else, we were on this long road trip, and everybody's like, play his CDs, play his CDs. And I just didn't want anything to do with it. And what I realized is that oftentimes, and now this is for me, I don't know if this is for everyone, but I would love to hear your feedback on this, Latoya. What I've learned on my journey is oftentimes when somebody hits me that way, I step back because it's a message that I need to hear. And so, oh, great, you're there. I see you. Okay,
See?
awesome. That's perfect. Um, so, what I've learned from that experience, and what I did was I just kept listening. Like, I didn't verbalize how I felt. I just kept listening and studying. And now, like, even before he became my mentor, I would study every single thing that he did, every word that he says, every show that he has on, every event that he put on. I would be fighting for the front, taking notes. I want him to spit on me and sweat on me. Like, I want everything about this man.
You
And
want all
so
the juice.
I want all the juice. So what do you think about that?
I think that's amazing. And I feel like a lot of people need more of it. But what I've learned is that until you are tired or at your last anything, your last dollar, your last hunger, your last situation, you're not going to have that until something dramatic happens, whether that be a trial and tribulations, or people think that you have to be going through something so bad to want something better. You could be doing great and want even more. And I believe that's where I was. I have a middle sister, and she passed away from breast cancer back in 2016. And of course, it was sad, but it's life, right? Things happen. And I realized, after her passing, I was bored because I did everything in my life for my sister. I love her dearly. But after she passed away, that same year, later on in the year, I was traveling. I made decent money. And when I say decent, for a 27, 30-year-old, probably like, I can go wherever I want to go, do what I want to do. I have no children. I'm not married, but I was bored. And I was like, this can't be life. Like, I can't just have all the things and then I die. Like, something else has to be given. So I started searching. And I feel like with that ambition that I have now, where I want to be a quadrillionaire, and yes, that is a large number. And I believe there are people in this world that have reached that number, but not officially on record. Is just, I have to keep going. You hear the saying a lot when people retire, they end up dying 2-3 months after that because they're just sitting on a couch like, a happy potato, but really they're bored. I have family members now that retired 4 or 5 years. Like, you know what, Latoya, I'm going to go and get a part-time job. And I'm like, ooh, why? Why do you want to do that? And they say, well, I got all this money. I have nothing else to do, but I want to live a little more. But they didn't probably put away enough money so they can live the way they really want to live. So they're probably saying, okay, on the cover, I need some more money to go do this or go travel to Dubai, whatever it is they want to do. But at the end of the day, people just stop. And even though I was good, making a lot of money, I was an armed guard professional. My original background is criminal justice because I wasn't able to join the Army for medical circumstances, but I didn't let that stop me. I wanted to fly planes for the Navy, right? Because my family has an Army background history. But when they said I can't do that because of my health, I said, well, what can I do where I'm able to have, a weapon and serve my people? I can be an armed professional. And with that, there was no stimulations, and I could have been, private sector, which I did, where I was able to work for one of our presidents for 3-4 years. And that was amazing. But if I had just said, I have this disease where I can't work in this area because I'm X'd out, I'm a commodity. I would just sit here and just work somewhere regular. I didn't want to do that. I found another way. So ambition is needed to be successful. And believe it or not, we've been ambitious since we were born as babies. How many times have we fell down? How many times have we bumped our heads where our mom was like, shh, don't tell your dad, don't tell your mom, right? But we still got back up and tried again. And somewhere in our adulthood, I think we forget that we have to keep trying again and again. You're on mute. We can't hear you. No.
There you go. I put myself on mute because I didn't want to interrupt you. This is fire. I need to see some comments. Oh my goodness. I love, 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 love this. So one thing I want to highlight is when you were talking about people, getting bored, right? And a lot of times people want to say things like, I just want to be comfortable. Listen here, y'all. This is a gloves off conversation. Okay, this is no rainbows and butterflies here. If you came for rainbows and butterflies and puppy dogs, this is not the right event for you. Here's the deal. This is what I've learned is we are either growing or we're dying. And if we're striving to be comfortable, people say, oh, I just want to be comfortable. It's okay. I don't want to be greedy. I don't need a lot. Listen, if that's what you're doing, then retire now and go on Social Security and then just sell everything and live under a hole. Like, what are you talking about? We're not doing this thing called life to just settle in mediocrity. We've already done that. And I talk about it a lot in creating that generational wealth, because I believe, we're taught that every generation should outdo us. Our children should do better than us. And are we really leaving our children that opportunity to have that hand up? Or are we leaving them to have to start all over again?
Listen, I can definitely testify to that, right? Now that I have a child, and I was told I would never be able to have children, but let God tell you different, right? I have a 5-year-old son now. And at the end of the day, what is your clear objective to getting what you want and starting fresh? Well, so my perspective when it comes to that, especially with business and finance, life insurance is a must.
Yeah.
And then if you don't have life insurance or you don't have a plan, then start a plan. Set a clear objective, aka clarity, refresh mind, go for a walk, sweat it out. People make so many excuses. Like, excuses is full of it. Excuses are only for people that need a reason to get out. Because if I don't want to do the laundry, I will find an excuse. I will tell my partner, hey babe, so I had a long day, my feet hurt, this and this and this. I'm trying to sell him on the fact that we need to do this laundry, but I don't want to do it. But really, it's an excuse. If I have no clean clothes for tomorrow, I need to go and do the laundry, which is my pet peeve, by the way. I'm not ever doing laundry. So I need to get this up and own me a laundry corporation, because I'm not touching it. Even though it's my clothes, when I'm done with it, I'm like, no, I'm done with it. But with that saying, it's like, you have to do thorough research on yourselves. People say mindset. I had a lot of courses in my day, 7 to be exact. I'm not a course person, but people, every course I have, the first thing we talk about is mindset. And the reason why is because we've been taught a certain way. We were raised a certain way. We were doing the things that we were not want to do. But once we get to that light bulb age, and I think for me, that was age 25, I don't have to do things the way everybody else did. I can do things how I want to do it, as long as it's legal and ethical. I can do what I want, but that takes thorough research. And the first research people miss out is on yourself. I had maybe 5 to 10 businesses. They all failed, but I didn't give up. But within those trying of this business and that business, I had to learn a lot about myself. And doing well-reformed research, I realized, you know what? I love to paint. I'm a fly visual artist. And that's what most people know me for back in the day, was, when you're going to do this painting, when you're going to paint that. And I'm like, listen, y'all, that was the young LaToya. I still paint and draw now and then. But my passion is structure. I love structure when things are done the right way. When people, or kids are younger, they'll do the Legos. So I went to Legoland with my son a few years ago. And I was just like, if I kept on doing the Lego thing, I would have been an architect. And that's what I went to college for. I didn't finish. I don't have a degree, but I went to school for architecture because I love to draw and I wanted to build buildings. But I didn't know that math was a huge part of that degree, right? So literally, you know what I did? I dropped out. I was like, oh, you got to say, what? Calculus? What? Nope, I'm good. I thought I could just be a fly artist and become an architect. Now, I can do that on a different type of way where I'm a consultant, but I was running away from math. Now, look where I'm at now. I'm doing math, pricing every single day. It hit me in the face like, LaToya, even though you get away from math, it's right here. Like, if I don't learn these numbers and feel comfortable with getting more information on it, I'm not going to succeed. So we have to find a way to get clear. We have to find a way to get clarity in our objectives for anything we do in life, but especially for our businesses and finances, because if we keep running away from that, it's going to keep coming back. And you don't want to get to the point where you regret. And I feel like regret should be not in a dictionary. We just have to face the facts. Because when it comes back to us, we can say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't do this, and I missed this and missed that. And there's those people that will say, well, the reason why that happened so you can be where you are today, but you could have been better if you had done things with right engagement in the right way, with proper planning.
Yeah, so much fire. Jamie Villalobos says, an excuse, no matter how valid, is still an excuse, and it weakens your character. And it weakens our character. So that's why we a lot of times don't trust ourselves, because we don't keep the word that we made to ourselves. So that's huge. You touched on it. I'm going to circle back, unpack it a little bit. If you are a business owner Even if family, right? You have your family business or your family yourself, and you don't have life insurance, folks, stop right now. Go get some life insurance. It could be term, it could be final expense. Listen, it doesn't have to be all this, great cash value and all those things, although those are wonderful. But if it's not affordable for you right now, at least get some term insurance, because this is why a majority of the problems that we have occur. And that's at my core values. And if I meet somebody or I have a client or somebody who wants to be my client, but they say they don't believe in life insurance, and they don't want to make Sancho rich, or they just think that it's not valuable or what have you, if there's nothing I can educate them and they truly at their core are just completely opposed to it, then they're not the right client for me, because that is at the foundation. If you study any true millionaire, I'm talking about multi-deca billionaires, they all use life insurance. And so if we think that we can forego that, we are kidding ourselves. We are leaving our family without living benefits, meaning if they get cancer, heart attack, stroke, now you have to start pulling from your resources, start selling your stocks, start selling your houses, depending on what the market is. It could be for pennies on the dollar. At the same time, not able to get that experimental treatment. I wish I could say that this never happens to me, but this happens almost every week. I get somebody in that situation where they didn't have life insurance with living benefits, and now they're looking at what assets do they have to liquidate, and let alone when you pass away. I was just listening to Myron Golden. He's so incredible. And one of the things, yes, as he's your mentor, I love Myron Golden. He was talking about life insurance and creating that family legacy. And he did an incredible show. I'm not going to do it justice, but he just fortified my conviction even further. I had a client recently who came to me and wanted to do some collaborations, but they did not believe in life insurance at their core because of this reason, that reason. And I just had to respectfully say, I wish you well. And I gave him some information. But after I listened to Myron Golden, I realized that we have a fiduciary responsibility to our families to take care of them. We brought them into this world. It is our responsibility to take care of them, whether we are here or whether we die too soon or whether we get sick. If we think that our children are going to be okay if we lose a mom and the dad's just going to go back to work because they say, oh, I don't need life insurance, my wife's a stay-at-home mom, I'm just going to go ahead and go back to work. You think your babies really want to have you leave the house to go back to work when they just lost their mother? So I love that you said that. You're speaking to my heart. I absolutely love it. And for me, that's really one of the biggest overlooked opportunities and cause the biggest tragedies is not having a life insurance in place in business and in finance.
I agree, especially when it comes to business. Like a couple of our top companies today started with life insurance, like the great Walt Disney, right? We would not have a Walt Disney World if he didn't have a policy. One of my favorite restaurants, Panera Bread, and I can name thousands and thousands of others. I think Verizon, also one of the top phone companies in the world, started with life insurance. There's a lot of businesses today that people have jobs with that started with life insurance. And I kind of feel like, honestly, life insurance, when it comes to life insurance in business, it should be started with mandatory. So you know how you get a job, you get that offer for health coverage and you can choose it or not. Life insurance benefits should be in there. But believe it or not, a lot of companies take out life insurance on their employees and don't even know it. So because one thing is for certain, and I know you know this, but most people for our audience, we have two things in common. After you are born, you can do all the things in the middle, but what is definitely going to happen? We are going to a better place somewhere else, aka asleep, aka we are going to die. We're not going to be here forever. Yes, there are people that are living at 130 plus or so, but even them, it's like that movie Benjamin Button. We were born, and then eventually we are going to die. When are we going to die is the big $1 million question, right? But here's the thing. You know why they say you don't know when you're going to die? It's the $1 million question, because some people, when they do die, they give their family $1 million. Not saying, I hope that happens because if I can get the $1 million, but when it happens, it's protection, it's security. And a lot of people out here, two-parent households, that's not common anymore. So life insurance, not only it can help you build a business, it can help you while you're living. The key word is life insurance. And I feel like the main problem is the mindset. But let's just say we get a bunch of people out of 100. Okay, the mindset is there. They know what they know. Like you said, get term, get whole life, get an IUL, get some type of coverage because it's needed. And then once you do that, if you really want to build wealth from the life insurance policies that you get, then you have a business plan and you structure it correctly. And then beyond, you can go ecstatic. Now, not everybody is wanting a business. That's fine. But if you keep working and working and working, unless you truly love your job, like our beloved police officers and our teachers, and our street people that help out with everyday life, you really want to spend something for your family. But there are some people that are wealthy that, they're a little selfish. Like, you know what? I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to do this and do this for me. That is fine. But you're still going to pass away one day. So why not pass away? And I use this analogy a lot. The movie Coming to America and the Coming to America Part 2. If you haven't seen it, please go see it. And during his going away party, because he was dying, he was sick or whatever, they had a party and they were happy. When I saw that part of the movie, it was actually the first 5 minutes. Coming to America 2, the father passed away, but he was a king in his country. Do you know how much money he had to leave away for his kingdom, for his people? He left millions and millions of dollars. So to me, when we have funerals where everybody's crying and they're sad, of course they're sad because their loved one's not here with us no more, but they're probably also sad because they're still in the same situation. They don't have any money. They took out a massive loan to pay for this funeral. Now they're in debt. Oh, who's going to, bring the peach cobbler pie, or who's going to do that? Oh, who's going to pay the mortgage now? And God forbid you have a child that's a single parent and they die. Now they're off to the system, and you know how that go happen. So at the end of the day, life insurance is not a bad thing. A lot of people are scared of it. And I'm like, why are you scared of this? Is for your protection. Since 1706, if you do your history, life insurance was been created. 1706. Okay. And like you said, every wealthy person that is somewhat kind of smart gets life insurance because it can help your family. I think our major thing is the education part of it. Like the call we have on Money Talks tonight, one of our audience listeners doesn't know how to start or how to begin. Well, here's the thing, you guys. They used to call it an encyclopedia. Now it's called Google. You can ask Google any question. You can ask Leah. You can contact me. Ask somebody the question that you're scared to ask. And there's no judgment, because I didn't know about life insurance until probably my early 20s. But I had the same mentality a lot of people have now. I don't need it. I'm not going to die no time soon. My sister passed away at 27 years old. I'm older than her. I'm now 40. Look how long ago that was. We don't know when we're going to die. And life insurance can help us. And having a business plan, whether you have a business or not, you need to have a clear plan for what you want with your life. And life insurance is a huge asset to that.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And we have a few more people joining us live. Welcome, Daniel Garcia. Thank you for joining us. He says, great job. And we have a couple of questions, some great questions from the amazing Freddie Johnson III. So his first question is, he says, good afternoon. How do you establish a family bank? And I think I'll touch on this, but I know, Latoya, you're going to have some sprinkles on the top too. So there are a lot of different nuances, but this is the basic concept. You create a living trust coupled with cash accumulation life insurance. Now, there are a lot of different types of cash accumulation life insurance and different companies, and they all work a little bit different. There are a lot of different types of living trust, and they can get really complex, but they basically do one thing: protect your assets to transfer and avoid probate. Cash value life insurance can accumulate cash that cash can be used and leveraged. I call it using the same money twice. And this is what I mean by that. The life insurance is there for a death benefit when you pass away. You can also have some living benefits if you were to get sick or hurt. And that cash that's accumulating in there, you have the opportunity to borrow from that. A lot of different nuances again, but instead of using your money, now you're borrowing from your death benefit so that your money's still growing and you have the ability to use that cash to do anything. And here's the beautiful thing about it. Once you create this family bank, you can use it and you don't have to worry about a credit score. You don't have to worry about proving that you can pay it back. Nobody's going to ask you to fill out this paperwork. You simply say, hey, I've got this cash value, Mr. Life Insurance Company. I would like to borrow some of that money. Maybe you have an opportunity. Maybe you have an investment opportunity. That's what I did with mine. That's how I leveraged mine, is there was an opportunity, right? So that's called using the same dollar twice. So hopefully, Freddie, that gave you just kind of a 1,000-foot view. And Latoya, go ahead and add some to that.
So, how to establish a family bank? First, get the family together and define to them what a family bank is. Again, I mentioned earlier, mindset is key. And when you say family bank, a lot of people here don't even know what you're talking about. So get the family together. I get together for Labor Day. I get together for holidays and birthdays and Christmas, church Sunday, grandma's cooking dinner. Talk to people in your family about a family bank. Because if you don't have a goal and a purpose, once you create the family bank, like Ms. Garcia mentioned with the steps, then what is the purpose of it in the first place? So legal structure, but get the mindset of the family bank before you even establish one, for sure. Because a lot of people, they want to do it themselves, but then they're like, oh, it's just me doing it by myself. Well, what is the point? It's a collective activity. We grow up in groups and peoples and singles, but we were here for one reason. It's all different types of peoples, with your friends, with your family. So I say, have a family party. And in the middle of the party, cut the DJ and say, hey, we're going to have this conversation about creating a family bank, and put the information in families' minds and even friends, because not a lot of people know that question, Freddie, what is the family bank itself? So that's one. And then create a legal structure, and then definitely contact Ms. Leah Garcia for the official.
Thank you for that. I love that you said to have the family gathering, because to create a family bank, it is not you and your trust and your life insurance. A family bank requires at least 4 family members. Anything less than that, you're kidding yourself. If somebody's trying to sell you this bag of goods that say you can create a family bank on your own, then they don't understand the concept. It really is about a collaboration, because the theory is that as people pass away, the family bank replenishes itself, and it will create a snowball effect. That's why the Rockefellers have been wealthy for going on 10 generations, is because they have created this. They're probably the most well-known for creating the family bank. But every single family member, as soon as they're born, they have a significant life insurance policy. As soon as they're 2 weeks old, you can put a life insurance policy on them, so that as family members pass away, that family bank is truly a bank, and it's growing. And now imagine every single family member has, I used to say 1 million, but these days with inflation, we need to have 2 million. Okay, let's be real.
I agree.
$2 million each on those family members. And when they pass away, now that money comes into that trust and really fortifying that family bank. And then we do the same thing over and over and over again. Imagine your family that can carry this on for multiple generations. My mentor, the amazing Rich Solly, his family bank is funded for 10 generations. I mean, think about that.
That is beautiful.
And here's how this works, though. Here's how this works, is that you can create the rules and guidelines. You create the rules for the things that they cannot do and the things that they must do. That's called control from the grave. And that's how we're able to spend the seed. Think of it, your wealth is like a beautiful, I call it a rosy cheek apple tree. And now we groom this tree and we grow it, we water it, and it flourishes, and we have all these rosy cheek apples. Well, for us, whenever we need money, whenever we need a rosy cheek apple, we just go and pluck one off the tree. But if we don't leave the proper structure in place, when we leave it to our loved ones, you know what they do with that tree? They chop it down. They use the wood for fire in their fireplace. They eat the apple and they throw away the seeds. And that's called a family disaster. Okay, we want our family to have generational and multi-generational wealth. So Freddie said, this is good. Thank you. He has another question. So thank you so much for that question, Freddie. And also I wanted to share this with you. If you are looking to learn more about life insurance, this is a very quick, easy read. It's called Money, Wealth, and Life Insurance. If you like, I'm going to actually put it in the comments. It's a PDF. This will give you a great foundation because a lot of people don't know that their banks, they say they don't believe in life insurance, but their banks are actually owning life insurance. So Freddie has another question. He says, good afternoon. How do you establish, what is the best bank for new entrepreneurs?
Oh, good question, Mr. Freddie. So the best bank for new entrepreneurs, there's different types of banks, right? There's about a good 4 of them. You have your commercial banks, which is the large banks, your Chase, your Bank of America, your Wells Fargo. You have investment banks that only specialize in financial institutions and underwriting. Then you have your credit unions, which, me personally, I love credit unions because they are definitely a gem. You should honestly apply for a credit union for your business with banks versus the big boys, just to make sure, because credit unions are for the people. They're for the community. They're not going to judge you on your paperwork. The bigger banks, to be honest, they're going to judge you. Okay. You have to have your ducks in order. And some examples of investment banks are like Morgan Stanley, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs. Now, those are high numbers up there. But a good credit union is Navy Federal, Alliant, your state employment. So any credit union is going to help you establish to build. I remember I had a 9-to-5 job and they had their own credit union and they helped me build my credit. They said, hey, you want to come in for a quick meeting? I was like, I don't have any money. What do you want? They said, exactly. We want to help you get more money. I said, I'll come to that meeting twice a week. I went to this meeting for this credit union and they helped me build my credit up to 100 points with just little tweaks of what I was doing and how I was spending. So I definitely highly recommend a credit union bank for your business, and also a savings and a loan association bank. People forget that because these banks are going to lend you money for your business. You can try New York Community Bank. You can do Washington Mutual, JP Morgan, and Chase. Now with JP Morgan, like I mentioned earlier, have your ducks in a row. But they love business owners because they know the more business you do, the more money you're going to bring into their bank so they can use it. And mind you all, do you know that your bank can give you a life insurance policy also when it comes to your business? I bet people didn't know that. Definitely, you want to do your research with the bank that you're choosing because there's, all these fees and transfers and everything. But I recommend any new entrepreneur to have, I would say, about 5 to 6 bank accounts, but it doesn't have to be for one bank, right? You can read the book called Profit First that really focuses on this. Profit First will teach you about how to move your money, how to deal with your money. And to be honest, myself, I have 14 bank accounts. 14. Now, not all 14 got 6 figures. Not all 14 got 5 figures. I might have one just for, want to go with the girls to have lunch, or I have one because it's my payroll department. I have my one for HR. I got one. The biggest one I have is the emergency fund, right? We all need an emergency fund account because that account, when you just never know, you're going to end up going to it more often. But none of the least, you need to have, I would say, at least more than 2 to be financially capable to run a successful business.
Wow, so much fire. Freddie says, wow. I said, wow, I agree with you, Freddie. That was fire. We have a few more people joining us. We have my days, Coral from across the pond.
Oh,
Coral! Joining us. We have Kaza. I don't want to butcher your name, my dear, but has a great question. Kaza Ramanjan. He says, breaking the barriers in business and finance is such a crucial conversation, especially in today's rapid evolving market. What strategies have you all found most effective in overcoming financial challenges or achieving business growth? Would love to hear everyone's insight. Great, great, great question. Oh my goodness, I think there's a second part to this. Well, let's tackle the first one.
Yes.
So the first one is, what strategies have you all found most effective in overcoming financial challenges or achieving business growth?
I'll go first. So challenges, there are different levels of challenges. Okay. There's little challenges. There's baby challenges. It's like having a little fish problem to the medium-sized fish problem to the great white whale to the shark. There's different levels of it. And my small challenges when I started my businesses, all 12, 13 of them the wrong way, was I always end up failing. And then I had to start over again. So besides me pivoting to keep going when it came to the financial strategies, I had to dip into my stash. People say, and a lot of great leaders today, including Uncle G, will say, saving is obsolete. Don't save. I still save today. I do 6-figure deals, 5-figure deals, even 3-digit deals daily. But I still would take a portion of that money and put it away for something to happen. I have a crucial and emergency fund. And most people will say, well, nothing's happened in this amount of years or this amount of time, but I am prepared for when that thing happens. So the market is going fast. AI is out here doing all the good things. I got to have something put away because I might not know when I need a quick emergency fund, or someone in the family might have an emergency where I have to borrow some money. So definitely keep saving. A lot of people say saving is whatever, but the penny story is a gem. It is a gem. I pick up pennies all the time. You guys still should be saving. You still should be investing, but don't just say, well, it's 2024, I'm not saving no money. No, you still should be saving. There's different ways to cut a mango, right? So there's different ways to overcome this challenge when it comes to money, but don't just do one thing. This is actually one of the things where you want all your eggs in different baskets. Like you want different baskets for different things, and you should definitely have one for your finances.
Yeah, lots to unpack there. We're getting lots of questions now. We may have to go overtime a few minutes. So one of the things that people really overlook, and you touched on it, and I want to kind of unpack it a little bit, is having different bank accounts, having money different places. Not only is it wise, because we never know, but listen, banks fail, things happen, but it's also energetically, you're inviting more. And when you divide your money, and I teach this to my clients. Like, for example, if I have a client who really likes to spend, I have a client who loves to buy purses. I never tell my clients what not to spend their money on. I just don't believe in that. That's punitive. That's poverty mentality. I just bring the awareness. So she said, I don't want to budge on this. I really like to buy my purses. I said, okay, well, how much money do you need? She said, $2,000 a month. Okay, we're going to set up that little account over there. That's your purse account. Put in $2,000 every month. Once you spend it, though, then you're done for the month. That's your purse money. And that for her, what happens is people start to make different decisions, but it's bringing that awareness. But it's also about dividing your money is energetically welcome in more money. I don't know how to explain how this works. It increases your vibration. Maybe Queen Dr. Leslie Flowers can unpack that for us, but I have seen this in my own finances, and I've seen this with other people as I coach them. So I love that. And the other thing is, when we talk about savings account, emergency fund, I know Uncle G says spend all your money so you stay motivated. Listen, if you're not motivated, then you need to check yourself. Now, the great Uncle G, if he spends all his cash, he's got other resources. He's got credibility. He can sell some things. He can leverage something. He's going to be able to get a loan just by who he is. Okay. I don't have it like that yet.
Yet. I'm going to say not
that's
yet.
Right. Yet. That's right. Even if I did, in my mind, what I teach is that saving and investing are two separate muscles. Saving is putting away money with no intent to spend. Investing is a intention to grow that money. So it's two different muscles and two different things that we have to develop the two strengths in there. So tons of great stuff. And we've got another question here. Hopefully that helped you, Kazi. He has another question. He says, and a comment. He says, one strategy I found particularly effective is optimizing a business online presence through tailored website development and SEO. It's amazing how much growth potential can be unlocked with the right digital tools. Curious to hear what's been working for others in this space.
I think that's a personal question, Kazi, because I know nothing about SEO. I hire somebody for all that good stuff. But to answer your general broad question, you want to optimize something in business, right? Even though me and Leah have great knowledge and great experiences, we both don't make money the same way. She does it by probably meeting people or help people with life insurance and selling, certain different things. I do it by digital products, meeting with people, and hosting events. So there's different types of ways to optimize your business presence when it comes to financing in that sector. SEO, like I said, that's something that's not me. I call somebody, hey, this is what I need. Okay, great. I let them take care of it. But when it comes to making money, there's different ways, different types. Just make sure you put a little bit extra away for taxes, because there's only two things you're going to pay for in life, and taxes is definitely one of them. And maybe at the end, I'll share the other one.
Yeah. So I'll try to tackle this, Kazi, because that is a very broad question. What I'm learning, and this is what I'm doing with my own business. For me, and if you talk to the Mr. Mic Drop David Jones, he's going to talk to you about the old dusty, crusty websites. When I first started in this industry 18 years ago, we used to carry our business card and my insurance license. I don't know why, that's what they told us to do, right? To show credibility. And now these days, a business card and a website is kind of what people think is the core. However, the issue is websites, business cards are not personal, right? You just have your information on it. And websites are static. So for me, I'm upgrading my system into a biz in a box where it's more vibrant, it's more engaging, it's more dynamic. People don't want to know so much anymore about what you do. They want to know who you are before they really consider working with you. They got to resonate with you. Listen, there are a million people that probably do what I do. Not everyone is my tribe, but until they know who I am, they can't determine if I am for them or not. So that's kind of my 2 cents. And we have a question from the amazing Coral from across the pond. Oh my days. Coral asks, how important is it to check interest rates when having more than one bank?
Good question, Coral. Good question. So importance of, do you want to know the interest rate or do you not want to know the interest rate? This question is more informational. A lot of people just say, you know what, I'm going to choose this bank because I like the customer service, or I like, the time they open up. But if I tell you I have an interest rate savings account online that gives me 6%, which is really, really defined, but they don't have any online broker stores, but they have partners where you can go into the store. Will you now choose this bank? But someone might say, well, I want to deal with a real person. Okay, what if I tell you this bank is 24/7, 7 days a week, even on Christmas? So it depends on what's important to you when you're choosing a bank when it comes to the APR. But I would definitely check the APR rates for any bank. The higher, the better. I will always say start with 5 and then narrow it down to 3 and then pick the bottom 2 that you choose up with.
Yeah, at the very minimum, have 2. Latoya touched on that earlier. At the very minimum, have 2. And 2 different types of bank. Have a credit union and then have a commercial bank, something like that. Because people think, well, I have Wells Fargo and Chase, so I have 2 different accounts. In my opinion, that's kind of having all your eggs in one basket. I have another question here from LinkedIn user. So LinkedIn user, please put your name so that we know who you are and can give you credit. And yes, Kazi says, well, this is what I do, so give me a shout out. Put your information in the comments, Kazi. We love you to promote yourself. So LinkedIn user asks, when is the best time to have all of these amazing discussions with your child?
Ooh. So I'll say this. I have a military background. Okay. I'm very firm, very organized, very structured. I'm not the Oh, let me get my lipstick. I'm coming, honey. So, I'm not your typical mom. Okay. So, disclaimer, I'm not the typical mom. I taught my son how to write with a pen and paper when he was 1 year old. I have a video where he's saying his first, last, middle name, his birthday, how old he was when he was 2. And now he's 5 years old and he knows what real estate, life insurance, and living benefits means. So to each his own. But I believe if your child can talk to you and describe something to you, it's when you need to learn to give them more information than the average. They will be ahead of their class. They'll be more alert and they'll have more awareness when it comes to these types of topics. Now, if you talk to your average old school mom, stay at home, Betty Crocker cooking, cake making person, a mom, she might say, no, let the kids go outside and play. But when my son gets older, when he goes outside and play, he knows to choose the proper mate. Hi, my name is Aiden. Do you have a job? Do you have a credit score? At 18 years old, one of the most important decisions that we do in our lives is picking people to be in our lives. So we tell children, stranger danger, don't talk to people. Okay, that's for their safety. But what about the safety of their minds?
Yeah.
What about the safety of their money? So you know how kids go to school and they trade lunches? Most entrepreneurs, if you watch a lot of podcasts and hear a lot of entrepreneur stories, their hustling or their money strategy started in grade school. They were selling candy, they were selling toys, they were dealing with money before they hit middle school. So my answer to you is based on your own child when you feel they're ready, because also not all children are made equally when it comes to their skills and ability. My son couldn't hit a basketball for I don't know how far, but if you sit him down in a classroom, he's going to kill everybody when it comes to performance. So it just depends on your child's ability of how they learn, how they speak. But I say when you feel they're ready, but definitely don't force it on them. Make it fun, make it enjoyable so they will want to learn about money and finance and business. If you're forcing it like those hard moms in soul business, like do it again so you do it perfect. No child is perfect. No structure is perfect, but the way you treat your child is perfect for your family.
Yeah, I love that. And that question from LinkedIn user is from the amazing Margaret Martinez. She hosts incredible LinkedIn audio rooms. If you would like to get started in that, she is a master at teaching how to really promote, market, and run a LinkedIn audio room. So for me, yeah, that was such a great question. For me, I think one of the basic things that we can do, and you're right, it's each child is different, but two really basic things is be really aware of the language that we use around money. So things like, I can't afford it, stressing about money. And I'm not saying if you're stressing about money, I get it, but try to be really aware of the language that we use around our children, even as before they start speaking about money and our views about money. And number two is, listen, all kids love to play store. I don't care how old they are, how young they are. Everyone loves to play store. And so in the beginning, you do a barter, right? Give me a Barbie and I'll give you an apple. And then later you start getting the Monopoly money, right? My grandson loves the Monopoly money. I love the Monopoly money when I was little. So it just speaks to my heart. And we can do those little transfers and teach them about exchange principles, because I never say sacrifice. That's one thing I wish I could banish that word, because sacrifice is from lack, limitations, and poverty. And when we say we're sacrificing, listen, I'm sacrificing so you can have more. I'm sacrificing so that our family can do better. We're not sacrificing, we're exchanging. And what I mean by that is we are trading something of value for something else of equal or greater value. So when you are making that exchange principle and you're having that little store interlude, they just think that we're playing store, right? We're exchanging, we're buying things. But there's so many very deep concepts that they're teaching. And one thing this reminds me of, and you said it in the beginning, Latoya, and I've done this when my grandson was, as soon as he could talk, and I always asked him, what is a lesson? What's the leadership lesson of the day? And, he would just blow me away, because his little mind, he's a thinker. He is a thinker. And the other day he asked my daughter, he's like, Gams. Or no, he told my daughter, Mommy, SpongeBob doesn't make sense. And she's like, what do you mean, mijo? Now, my daughter has been a cartoonist since she was little. So she loves SpongeBob, would always draw SpongeBob. And she's like, what do you mean? And he says, well, he's a sponge in the ocean. How come he doesn't absorb all the water in the ocean? That doesn't make any sense. So you never know what will inspire them, their synapses, to start making those connections, right? You want them to make those connections and be curious. And of course, we have in the house, Mr. Mike Drop, David Jones is in the house. He said lemonade store. Absolutely. I agree. Every single day and twice on Sunday.
You are correct. I have to back that up for a second. When it comes to their innovative minds, my son, and listen to the difference. My sister, bless her heart, she passed away. When she used to ask me for something, I would visit her because she stayed with family. I'm out the house now. I go visit her. She'll ask me, Raina, can we go do da-da-da-da? Let's wait. Can we go do da-da-da-da? I'll say, no, Keisha, we can't. Oh, you're broke? Oh, you don't have any money? And I will never forget that. And I'm like, first of all, I'm not broke. And two, I do have money, but I just don't choose to right now. But she only talked that way because of what she hears. So my son, just about maybe 2 weeks ago, asked me to go somewhere. I said, no, Aiden, we're not going to do that today. His response was, is all of our money tied to investments again? Did you do another deal and we have to wait for the money to come back again? And they said, Mom, you do have money. We can sell some toys. We can go do this. And then we can go to yada, yada, yada. So when he responded that way, it brought me back to my sister. When he hears the way we talk to them and respond to, like you said, money, he's like, okay, not mom that don't have any money, not that she's broke. All her money is tied up in other assets and other things and other investments. So I was shocked to see when we came home, he had a crate, a pile of toys, including his bike behind me. He said, Mom, this bike is too small. I need a new bike. Let's go ahead and sell this bike. And then we can go to over here. And I was like, seriously? So once a month, of course, to get away the clutter from the home, he's like, Mom, we have to sell some toys and sell these clothes so other kids can have them. So the way I do it, they have those kid places where you can sell the clothes and toys from, so other people can use them. And then if they don't buy them, we donate them to, a children's location. And when my son did that, I was like, it dawns on me because I sit here and still think, where does he get that from? But I forget who his mom is half the time. But they're like sponges for real. Like they will see and hear everything. And they're little copycats. Like my friend says, they're little humans. And little humans learn from other big humans. So the way you communicate around your children is very, very important, including with us, right? If our environment is always negative and low quality, and as one of my friends says, low vibrations and just not positive, we're going to get the same thing and feed that off, and it's not going to circle back in a good way. So surroundings is very important, especially for our youth, because when they get older, they'll learn everything from us.
Absolutely. And wow, we've gone over our time. We kind of had a little squirrely start, so I wanted to make sure we got our time in and gave you your due time for sure. So we're kind of winding down here. We appreciate all the questions. Latoya, where is Latoya going in 2025? And then share with our viewers how they can reach you.
So where am I going in 2025? I do have a brick and mortar office here in Atlanta. I think I want to expand and move my business to 2 more states. I get a lot of inquiries in Florida, a lot of inquiries from back home in New York. So I'm going to inquire my businesses there so I can reach more people and have a bigger impact for sure.
Nice. And what's the best way for everyone to reach you?
Everyone to reach me is successwithlatoya.com. You can definitely find me here on LinkedIn. I'm on all social media platforms as Success with Latoya on IG, on YouTube. Definitely right now, just reach me at successwithlatoya.com. I have my appointment booked there, my appointment setter there, so you guys can book an appointment with me or send me an email and tell me what you guys need, because my goal here is to serve my community. If I'm serving what I want, I'm not going to get any feedback, right? I want to know your problems, your issues when it comes to business and structure, so I can help you thrive and make your lives better.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you so much. I appreciate our connection. I mean, did I tell you guys this is going to be fire today? It was worth it. I knew that They were just somebody trying to play some games on us. They didn't want this message to get out there. But see, we don't play like that.
We got on anyway.
That's right. That's right. We always find a way. So that's going to wind us down for this edition of Wealthy Wednesday. We appreciate you so much. And as always, my name is Leah Garcia, financial strategist and insurance professional. And it's my crusade to help you properly protect, distribute, and transfer your wealth so that you can build that legacy and create generational and multi-generational wealth for your family. Folks, listen, we've already had generational poverty. And I know a lot of people say money isn't everything. Money doesn't buy happiness. But you know what? Broke doesn't buy anything. All right? So that's it. We will see you at the top because we all know it is way too crowded at the bottom. Thank you, everyone.